Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Show, brought to you by the Market Dominator on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. It is so good to have you guys. Happy Victory Monday, Happy Victory Tuesday, Happy Victory Wednesday. It's a wonderful Happy Victory week. If you are a member of Bills Mafia, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, not so much. Welcome into the show. So good to have everybody. I appreciate all of you joining me live right now. There are a ton of people who are joining me live. There is a lot of fun, emotion. Everybody's excited. It's good to see all of the familiar names and actually some not so familiar names. It's also fun to see some names in the comment section that I haven't seen in a while. It's good to have all of you. Please do me a favor, whatever platform you are consuming this video cast on, please like, please subscribe. So if you're on YouTube, there is a thumbs up button right there in the center of your screen. Please click that button. What it does is it gets my metrics up, and then people can find me, and they're like, oh, people watch this show. And then it's like, yes, we do watch this show. Well, maybe I should watch this show too. So there's a little thumbs up. Just click it. And if you are listening to this, consuming it in podcast form, please like, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you choose to listen to your podcasts on. It's so good to have you. As I always say, this is a recording of a podcast. So if you are in the live comment section right now on YouTube, and I've been watching the Twitter metrics as well, and there's some people over on Twitter. If you're watching me on Twitter, jump over to YouTube. That's where all the fun is. I don't even know. Can you even comment from Twitter? Like, I don't think you can. Like, can you comment from Twitter? I just clicked the thing. Oh, I guess you can. Let's find out. Hello? What do you know? It showed up. How about that? Well, there you go. The great mystery has been solved. But yes, anyways, please like, please subscribe. This is a recording of a podcast. So if you are in the comment section right now, I am not ignoring you. If you want to get my attention, if you would like to ask me a question, if you've got a comment, please super chat me. It'll glow on my screen. I'll see it and I'll be able to respond to it. Otherwise, I'm going to do a very good job, or at least attempt to do a very good job, to stay on my notes. But as I always say, whether this podcast finds you around a cup of coffee, at the gym with your AirPods in, on the drive to work, or watching me live right now, let me just say one last time, welcome. It is so good to have you. Oh, I see all. Awesome. I see all the X folks showing up. So let me hang on a second. Good to have all the Twitter peeps. Awesome. I've never seen the Twitter logo actually show up, so that's pretty cool. It's good to have all you guys. Appreciate you guys joining and making yourselves apparent, or making yourselves, what's the word? Obvious. I don't know. Showing yourselves. I can see you. The people on YouTube cannot, but I can see you. It is so good to have every single one of you. Before we get started in this show, let's take a very quick moment and hear from our show sponsor, the Market Dominator team, which is fitting because, as has already been stated in the comment section, this was quite the dominating performance. Here we go.
Hey, Bills Mafia, John Spaschak and Scott Catillas here. The Market Dominators, the proud sponsor of the Overreaction podcast by our good friend Joe Miller. And listen, I'm wearing the Knox jersey. Scott's wearing the white jersey. They're both on injury reserve. They're broken, right? Bad news. But the good news is the Market Dominators are not broken. Bills.
All right. I picked the wrong one. I got to pick a different one. That's like a things aren't going so well video. Let's see here. Let's do this one. So, I hit the wrong button. Hang on a second. So let's change the Market Dominator video, not share screen. Boy, we are getting off to a wonderful start here, Bills Mafia. There we go. Is this what I want? This is what I want. So let's do this. So here we go.
Yeah. Bills Mafia, John Spaschak here, right. The Market Dominator for the Market Dominators real estate team. I know we're having a tough time this season, but listen, the Market Dominators are not. We are succeeding every day.
We're going to get this right. The funny thing is like, I don't know that John necessarily cares which one I show, but I want to show a fun one.
Introducing the Market Dominator.
Folks, I'm John Spaschak. That's right, the Market Dominator. And I am the proud sponsor of the Overreaction podcast, hosted by my good friend, Joe Miller. You know, his approach is absolutely outstanding. It's excellent. And that's what our approach is when we get into real estate. We help our clients win, just like our beloved team is doing week in and week out. So folks, if you want somebody representing you with the most cutting edge technology, using artificial intelligence and everything we can get our hands on to help you win, you reach out to me directly, 716-570-3298. We will answer our phone. And one more thing, go Bills.
Go Bills. There we nailed it. And somebody just put in the comments section, come on, work. Nothing is working tonight. None of my technology is working. Like I've got the wrong videos going on. Tracy Fichter, where are you at, Tracy? I saw you. She says Joe is drunky. Joe is not drunky. Joe has not had. This is the 3 sips I've just taken are the first 3 sips I've taken today. Joe is just in a good mood. So can we just leave it at that? But it's so good to have all of you. Yes, if you are in the market to buy or to sell a home, you got a little bit of the trifecta there of the Market Dominator. Please give John and his team a call, 716-570-3298. We're going to have some fun on this show. This was an amazingly stress-free game. It was never in doubt, right? Never in doubt. Josh Allen completed all of 7 passes in this football game. 7. I don't know if you knew that or not. Josh Allen made the comment in his presser that he felt like the kid that didn't do anything in the class project and still got an A. That is actually very accurate. Josh threw 15 passes. He completed 7. His completion percentage was not great, but at the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills beat the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, right into the ground, 31-10 on 7 completions from Josh Allen. 7. That's all it took. 7. And there's not much more to say about this football game. Show over. Offensively, defensively, coaching. The reality is, yes, that's what we want. Yes, offensively, yes, defensively. Yeah, I'm not saying that I don't want Josh to throw the ball. I'm just saying when you're talking about the ability to get into a game and see what the Buffalo Bills did, and I've got more information on that in a minute, yes is the answer. Defensively, yes, the Bills didn't take their foot off the neck. They didn't turtle shell. Yes, stay that way. Coaching, yes, absolutely yes. I mean, that's how we play. That's who we are. That's what we as Bills Mafia expect every week. That is championship level, championship caliber, as Sean McDermott has recently said. However, we have to get into the playoffs first. So that is still a chase for us as Bills Mafia. But regardless, yes, yes, yes. Give me more of that. The Buffalo Bills need to win out. It's no secret. A weekend where they basically didn't get any help. I can talk to you a little bit about it real quick. The AFC standings currently, in regards to notes that I took, the Ravens are actually playing right now against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both are the number 1 seeds in their respective divisions, but you've got the first 4 number 1 seeds in the divisions: Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Jags. After that, you've got the Browns, Bengals, Colts, Texans, and then the Bills. The Buffalo Bills actually moved up 2 spots this weekend, which means the goal has not changed. They still have to win out. And I'm going to tell you this, you might as well just buckle up, Buttercup, because that is what is going to be expected. The Bills are going to have to win out. Even if the Dolphins win the division, so the Dolphins win every game until that last game of the season, and the Bills win that game, the Bills are still going to be number 2. The Dolphins are going to win the division. The Bills are going to, that's the only way the Bills can make the playoffs. The Bills have to win out. So there's 3 weeks to go. The Buffalo Bills are in 9th. As I just said, they moved from 11th to 9th. They could have moved prospectively right into a playoff spot, but they didn't get any help. They got actually no help at all. The Browns were actually down in a football game today to the Bears, and the Bears let them come right back into it. So the Browns are now the number 5 seed. The games they've got up and coming: the Texans, which are also in front of the Bills, the Jets, and they've got the Bengals, who are also in front of the Bills. In the number 6 seed, the Cincinnati Bengals, with a backup quarterback who's actually playing pretty well, who was also down this past weekend. Those are 2 games that, had they gone the opposite direction, The Buffalo Bills would have bypassed them or passed them in the standings. The Bengals actually beat a team in the Vikings that lost in a very Billsy fashion. I don't know if you tuned into that football game, but it was tough to watch. But the Bengals are the 6th seed. They have to play the Steelers. They've got to play the Chiefs. And I cannot read my handwriting for who they've got to play after that. I think it starts with a B. Regardless, I think this might say the Browns. I think they've got to play the Browns. Yeah, they got to play the Browns. My bad. The Colts are also ahead of the Bills. The Colts are in what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th place. They have currently the last, I believe, position in the playoffs. They have to play Atlanta. They got to play the Raiders. They got to play the Texans. The Texans are ahead of the Bills. They're in 8th place. They've got to play Cleveland. They've got to play Tennessee, and they've got to play Indianapolis. Now, this is all you need to know as it pertains to the Buffalo Bills winning out from here on through. A lot of these teams, as you just heard, play each other. That's good for the Bills. The Dolphins, on the other hand, well, the Dolphins are also in control of their own destiny. If the Dolphins win out, then they get the AFC East division. I think if they lose one game and then beat the Bills in the last game of the season, they still win the division. But the Dolphins are very much all of the pressure, as much as it feels like there's a lot of pressure on the Bills, the majority of the pressure in the AFC East is on the Dolphins. So you've got a Bills football team that the last several years have finished the season pretty much on the uptick, one out, right? So whereas the Dolphins are the opposite of that. Every time it's come to the end of the season and there's been a lot of pressure on them, they've folded like a chair. And that's literally the situation the Dolphins are in right now. They've got a team in the Buffalo Bills that are chasing them. The Dolphins are no longer the hunter, as we've talked about as Bills fans. They are the hunted. And the Buffalo Bills are hunting them. With every week that passes that the Bills win, it puts more pressure on the Miami Dolphins to continue to win, which, by the way, the Dolphins face the Dallas Cowboys in Miami this coming weekend. So the Bills play Saturday night at 8 o'clock. I think that Dallas-Miami game is actually Saturday during the day. So a lot will be kind of not determined, but we'll kind of have some information kind of going in. And you've got to believe that the Dallas Cowboys are going to play better in Miami than they did in the rain in Buffalo. They're also going to come into that game probably a little bit upset. So that is just kind of a quick wrap up. The Bills could have gotten a lot more help. They possibly could have been in the 8th or even 7th place or spot after this weekend. But they, again, the help that was out there they were kind of on the verge of getting just didn't come through. A lot of teams that were winning or had games in hand, not in hand, but it kind of had games under control, 2-possession leads. The Browns, who else? The Vikings over the Bengals, the Bears over the Browns, and the Texans, I believe, were getting, or did the Texans lose? Regardless, there was opportunity there for the Bills to kind of move up some spots. I get into these moments and then it's like I've got a square thought because I've watched these games, right? And then like I get in this moment live on YouTube and I lose my focus and I doubt what I think I know. So, and then I say things like Connor McDermott like 7 times on a show on a Wednesday, and then somebody gets on YouTube or on Twitter and corrects me. It's like not badly. They're like, "Hey, by the way, did you know that you said Connor McDermott instead of Connor McGovern like 4 times?" It's like, don't. I'm an old man. Please don't hold it against me. Oh, this is not easy. This live YouTube live podcasting stuff, but yeah, there are no edits here. It is what it is. So, but that's the Buffalo Bills kind of playoff picture in a snapshot. I'll probably give that to you every game. I think we've done it a couple of weeks in a row, or we've done it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. But regardless, on the other side of the football, on the other side of the field, the Dallas Cowboys actually clinched a playoff spot during the 1 o'clock games without even playing. And Dak Prescott was told that they had clinched a playoff game. And Dak basically said that doesn't matter. He doesn't care. All that mattered to him was the win. And I'll be honest with you, mad respect for that young man for saying that, because that's a big deal. I mean, it's the fact that them losing the way they did meant more to him. He basically was saying it was inevitable. We knew that we were going to make the playoffs. It was just a matter of time. And in that moment, emotionally, the loss probably stung more than the news felt good about making the playoffs. But it was an unseasonably warmish day with some rain. That does not mean that it was warm. It just means that it was unseasonably warm. It was about 44, 43 degrees. I'm sure that when the sun went down that feels like dropped probably into the 30s, especially with that rain coming down. I don't know if wind was much of a factor. I was not at the game. Those of you that were at the game, you can probably put it in the comment section as to whether or not the wind was a factor. But you had to think going into this football game that it was going to play into the Bills' hands a little bit, that the weather was the way that it was. Dallas, a dome team from Texas, they throw a lot. They're not used to playing in the cold. I think their record under 40 degrees is not great over the last whatever decade. It wasn't necessarily under 40, but you did get the one shot of Mike McCarthy sipping hot chocolate on the sideline as he's like blow. I had to chuckle. I'm like, bro, it's not hot chocolate weather for us here in Buffalo. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I go to Bills games and I'll get a beer and I'll get a water, I'll get whatever, and I don't get hot chocolate unless it's like 10. It's 10 outside, and the hot chocolate is nothing more than a vehicle to warm my hands. So I'm more interested in the hot chocolate, the heat of the cup to warm my hands, than I am the watered down garbage hot chocolate that I just paid $6 for at the stadium. But Mike McCarthy's on the sideline, 48 degrees or 45 degrees, sipping hot chocolate, and I'm just like, here we go. Sorry. I just that it made me chuckle. For those of you that were at the game and didn't see it, it was relatively fun. They probably should have put that on the Jumbotron. Mike McCarthy drinking hot chocolate on the sideline, because I gotta think Bills Mafia would have got a little bit of a tickle out of that. But this football game, sorry, I'll try to get back on track. Started out strong. It was an old style, like old school football game, hard smash mouth football. The gladiators on the gridiron, right? It wasn't frozen tundra, but there was a lot of hard hitting and a lot of players trying to impose their will, something we actually don't see from the Buffalo Bills a whole lot. And they did. They imposed their will on the Dallas Cowboys, both on offense and on defense early. The Buffalo Bills offense opened up with a solid drive to go up 7-0. And basically at that point in time, never looked back. It was 7-0, and the Dallas Cowboys put together kind of an okay drive there, their first drive, and ended up having to punt. And it was all basically downhill from there for the Cowboys. Early on, I was actually texting Jerry and John and Spence, and Jerry actually had made the comment that the Buffalo Bills offensive line was getting a little bit worked in pass protection. Because I had made the comment in the chat, in our text group, that Josh Allen was starting to get a little bit of happy feet. This was around drive 3. And it was basically just due to some pressure that Josh was getting. And then you saw the Bills offense basically just turn and be like, you know what? We're going to let that guy do the work. They pointed over Josh's shoulder at James Cook, and they were like, hey, young man, why don't you cook? And that's kind of been like the highlight since the game has basically been played. Let James cook. Which has been great. And those offensive linemen were downhill blocking in the ground game, and it showed. I mean, they were lighting up that Dallas Cowboys defensive line. They were the production, the man to a man kind of overcoming the situation and basically owning the moment and just being on their blocks and imposing their will was impressive. And it's something this football team is probably going to have to make a habit of over the next, we'll say, 3 weeks to finish the season. And then obviously they're not going to get a first round bye, 4 weeks after that. So what's that, 7 weeks? We're going to need to see that from this football team over the next 7 weeks. But it's also encouraging because this is a team that's on the uptick. They're putting it together at the right time. There's cliche things that we always hear about, and that seems to be it's always some other team in the league that's doing. They put it together at the right time. They started winning at the right time. Towards the end of the season, they got hot at the right time, and we are kind of that football team that's in that niche right now, in that mold of being the team that's getting hot at the right time. We're an Eagles 61-yard crazy field goal in a rain windstorm away from actually having won the last 3 in a row, being what is it 9-5, and kind of like in the thick of this thing, and maybe making a push depending on what happens in this Ravens game. And I don't have it on, making a push for the 1 seed in a season where Joe Burrow's out. The Chiefs and Pat Mahomes don't look like themselves. Like, the opportunity to seize the moment is there. Unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills dug themselves into a hole and then proceeded to dig themselves into a hole inside the hole by losing games to the Jets and the Patriots and the Denver Broncos. But hope is not lost. Again, at the very least, at the very least, we are seeing some good football at the end of this season. We're seeing some promising football and some promising work from an interim offensive coordinator that I would expect will become sooner than later, if not this season, during the season, at least quickly in the offseason, he will be named the offensive coordinator in Joe Brady. We've been seeing a lot of good stuff from him. But even in this football game, getting back to it, every single back was productive. But James Cook was just on another level. He was in his zone. He was on another level, and it was awesome to see. It was encouraging. It was fun to watch. His cutting, his vision, his decisions, his reads. He was on it in this football game. And I put a little tweet out there about just being, I'm old enough to remember being told that James Cook will never be an RB1. The James Cook has bad contact balance. That the James Cook, there's a reason that in college he never got more than 14 touches in a game in college, and most of those were passes. As far as that goes, like I remember all those conversations because I was like, wait a minute, his brother's an RB1 and he's an inch taller and 10 pounds lighter. Well, that 10 pounds is all the difference in the world, Joe. That 10 pounds makes all the difference. Because of that 10 pounds, he'll never be an RB1. And James Cook right now is, I think, in third place for all-purpose yards from scrimmage in the NFL. He had 240 yards on the ground, which is the most. I've heard two different things. That's the most. They said in the game, it might have been 240 with 2 touchdowns, is the most since Thurman Thomas in 1991. And then in the pressers, they said it was the most yards from scrimmage or rushing yards from scrimmage since 2009 by a player. So regardless, it was very encouraging, very fun to watch. I'm sure all of you sat there with the biggest smile on your face, just like me, just where we were. What's interesting about this game, and it's always fun to be a content creator and backtrack. It's always fun to be a content creator and have to rethink or re-talk about, have a conversation, a new conversation about something that we haven't liked this year. One of those things, for instance, is Sean McDermott, right? I got, hey, Joe, like afterwards on Twitter, hey, Joe, do you want Sean McDermott fired still? And it's like, come on. So first of all, it's one game. We'll get into that, but, there's always next week. And I'm not saying that I want Sean McDermott fired. There's just things that we have seen, right, as fans. There's things that he continues to do. Well, another, one of those things is that inside handoff or that handoff from the shotgun, right? We all of us have lost our minds this season, going back to Ken Dorsey about the handoff from the shotgun. It's like, stop giving whatever running back the ball in a handoff from the shotgun. It's not working. Stop doing it. And my Lord, I don't know if the Dallas Cowboys weren't ready for it. I don't know if they hadn't watched the Bills suck at it for an entire season. I don't know if the Bills just figured it out, but they ran that play over and over and over and over again. And they were successful on it on almost every attempt. Like whatever the whiteboard play was where they were like, I've got an idea. We're going to put Josh in the shotgun and we're going to hand the ball off to James Cook or whoever's back there with him from the shotgun. And defenses are going to lose their minds. And it has not worked at all this season. And in this game, by golly, by George, it worked over and over. And the Dallas Cowboys, and good on Joe Brady, because Josh Allen said it as well. They just kept calling it. There was one point in time, there was a wrinkle to this play where James Cook would just basically motion around to the opposite side of Josh Allen. And maybe that was just enough to throw the defense off a little bit. But they ran that play, I think at one point in time, I counted 3 times in a row. And James Cook got 4 to 9 yards every single time. James Cook would start on Josh's left. He'd rotate around, motion around to his right. Josh would snap the ball, hand the ball to him, and he would take off. And he was picking different holes. He would take the inside hole inside the tackle off the guard a couple times, and then one of the defensive players came into that gap, and James just bounced it outside and took it around and went to the edge. They just abused the Dallas Cowboys with that play, and it was fun to watch. So here I am retracting all of my hates about that play because the Bills made it work. So I now love that play. but I'm letting you know that I love that play up until the moment that it doesn't work again. And then I'm going to hate that play. And I'm going to scream at the television, stop running that play, stop handing the ball off out of shotgun, quote unquote. It does not work. So I too, just like you, am a hypocrite, is basically what I'm telling you. But when you look at this football game and you kind of like break it down by half, that was about as perfect of a first half as you could probably play, just despite, I'm going to say, a couple of bad penalties. There ended up only being one penalty in this game, the Terrell Dotson penalty, because the Taylor Rapp one it gets negated by the offsetting penalty, so it didn't happen. But at the end of the day, Taylor Rapp shouldn't be diving a foot and a half off the ground at a quarterback who's sliding. I don't care if he hit him or not. I don't care if he glanced him. I don't care if he barely touched him. I don't care if he missed him. When the quarterback's going down and you are diving a foot and a half off the ground laterally, like you're horizontal, laterally, like flying across the ground, basically head first at a quarterback, you don't do it. That's a stupid play. And if I had basically bad things to say about this game, it's this play, which effectively got negated because their offensive line, had a problem with it. And he stuck up for his quarterback, and he got flagged as well. Offsetting penalties. Great. And then Terrell Dotson with his, and there was a lot of confusion from people that were actually at the game. They couldn't see him lunge. And so, yes, Dak Prescott is a runner in that situation. However, he's a runner and he is still a quarterback, and he did not go head first. He also did not get tackled. He still surrendered on the play. And when he surrendered, which means he went feet first, just so everybody knows, because there were people on Twitter that were mad about it, Terrell Dotson lunged. He went head first, and you saw him lift and lunge forward at Dak Prescott. Not only should you expect a flag, that's a penalty. 100% all day long. Again, didn't hurt us in the long run, but stupid penalties like that can hurt us. You're talking about a situation that we could have maybe played a penalty-free game. But despite just those two things, they played about the most perfect half that you could possibly play. We went through that first half watching the Bills dominate a football team, dominate a good football team. And dare I say, this is not the first time we've seen the Bills do this year. And all the questions arise, primarily two. Can they? Will they on offense? Will they on offense keep their foot on the gas? Will they keep coming at them? Because sometimes even inside of the game plan, even inside of the game, when they get up, we've seen it, 2 possessions, 3 possessions. As much as they're being successful on the run, it doesn't mean they're going to keep running the same run plays. A lot of times you see offenses like go into different run plays to kind of begin to chew up clock and kind of change what they're doing to effectively take their foot off the gas and like drag the game out to run out the clock to win, right? But they didn't. They kept running the same stuff at them the whole entire game. The Dallas Cowboys had no answer. There was no adjustment to be made. There was nothing that they could do. And at one point in time, about halfway through the third quarter, I tweeted out, I was like, they've already headed to the bus. Like, this game's over. Because they weren't even trying to stop James Cook at that point in time. The Buffalo Bills kept their foot on the gas. It was great on offense. And then the other question, and this is the one that largely for me, all of the pot gets stirred and the conversation really begins to come up on whether or not Sean McDermott continues as the head coach of this football team. And that is, can they, the Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott, keep their foot on the throats of that offense while they're out there on defense? Because we have not seen it. We saw it a little bit last week against the Chiefs. However, Chiefs at home, right? Better environment for their offense. Dallas in our environment, obviously 2 different football games, but we watched that defense suffocate the Dallas Cowboys offense from minute 1 to minute 60. And that, to me, I said last week on this show, and I think that that Trish actually quoted it. That game last week was a game that I felt like the Buffalo Bills coaching staff could learn from. I felt like the Buffalo Bills could learn from that game. Like, oh, we can be aggressive on defense. And Sean McDermott said it in his presser last week. I wanted to be aggressive. I wanted to finish the game the way we started the game, which we could like literally peel off and have multiple conversations just around We didn't change anything on defense in games. The Eagles game, we didn't do anything different. We did the exact same stuff. It's like, you're a liar. All of your players started playing 9 yards off, started playing prevent defense. But regardless, we watched the Buffalo Bills on defense this time suffocate them from the beginning to the end. It was great. And what's interesting is I was told by Bills Mafia that this defense had a limp. I was told that this defense can't hold teams. I was told that it wasn't a matter of them changing the game plan. It wasn't a matter of changing the scheme. It wasn't a matter of changing the defensive play calls. It wasn't a situation where they were just getting overcome because they're missing, right? They're missing Daquan Jones. They're missing Matt Milano. They're missing Tre'Davious White. I was told that they can't hold teams because of these things. That it wasn't about the play calls. It wasn't about the change of trying to do something different because we got a 2-possession lead. I was told that it was because of injuries. We can't hold them. So the offense has to keep scoring, and then Josh would throw an interception. That's what I was told. Lo and behold, you watch a football game where they did just that. They held the Dallas Cowboys to basically 3 points the entire game until a garbage touchdown in the end, of which Cooper Rush was supposed to come in the game. And then for some reason, Dak ran back out there. Whenever Josh Allen gets taken out of a football game, I always tweet Josh Allen's been benched. And then they showed Cooper Rush warming up, and like he was like jogging towards the sideline. And I quote tweeted my own tweet, and I was like, "Oh, Dak Prescott has also been benched in this game." And then all of a sudden, Dak Prescott was back out there, and I was like, "What happened?" So apparently there was a change of heart somewhere. I haven't seen or read a report about why, but at the end of the day, that defense is good. I was also told that defense gets a pass a lot because of what they're dealing with on injuries. And everything that I've said to you in the last 3 minutes about this defense is for me to tell you that defense does not have a limp. That defense can hold teams, good offenses to the score. They can suffocate them. And that defense does not get a pass. When they let up and they allow the Eagles to score 30 points in the second half of a football game and win, they don't get a pass on that. They didn't have a limp. They just didn't hold a football team. Peyton Plays with the super chat. Peyton, thank you so much for being a part of the show, brother. Peyton and I go way back, so I've got an opportunity. Peyton is one of the longtime listeners of this show that I've actually had the opportunity and the pleasure to connect with. We actually met. He lives in Tampa, and we got to connect at the Bills Bucks game a couple years back. So appreciate you, bro. You know that. We message back all the time. Dear Sean McDermott, he says, enclosed, you will find an undrafted linebacker and safety, a man on a 1-year deal, and the remnants of a Hall of Famer. Please save my season. Merry Christmas, Joe. That's funny. That's good stuff. It's interesting for me to see all the people from X, by the way, that are like, X is telling me that all these people have joined the show, which it's never done before, which is hilarious. So pretty cool. Anyway, sorry, getting back to my notes. But Peyton, thank you so much for being a part of the show, brother. You know that love you tons, man. I have told you over the last couple weeks, I've told you over and over again. I don't remember going back how far, but I've told you over and over again that this defense has the pieces they need to complement the offense and win football games. Tonight, in this football game against the Dallas Cowboys, they showed it against one of the best offenses in the league from jump. This might have been the most complete and complementary regular season game we have seen from this team. We've seen the perfect game against, obviously, the no punt game against the Patriots in the playoffs. This might have been one of the more complete and complementary regular season games against a very good football team we've seen from a Sean McDermott coached football team. I literally did not want this football game to end. I was like, can this just be heaven? Can this be eternity? Because this is bliss right now. And as you can tell, I'm in a good mood, right? I like to talk about the Bills when they play well. I don't want to have to find things to be upset about. I don't want to have to find things to be mad about. I don't want to have conversations about Josh Allen turnovers. I don't want to have conversations about Sean McDermott making the same mistakes over and over again and never learning. I want to talk about good things. I want this team to win a championship. I want Bills Mafia to get what we deserve and have deserved for a very long time. I didn't want this game to end. And I'm excited already for Saturday. And I think you guys probably are too. And the reality is, all that to say that the league, the AFC, these teams in front of the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Jags, Browns, Bengals, Colts, Texans, the Chargers, who we play next week, the Patriots the week after that, they better not let this football team into the playoffs. Whatever they got to do, whatever those teams have to do to not let the Bills into the playoffs, they better do. Because this version of the Buffalo Bills that you saw last week, even against the Eagles and some coaching mistakes, last week against the Jets, this week's, who's going to beat this football team? This team, when they're firing on all cylinders, list them. Do me a favor, put them in the chat, put them in the comment section. Who are the teams that are going to beat this football team when they're firing on all cylinders? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. A couple noteworthy notes before I jump over to your tweets. Josh Allen surpassed Cam Newton for the most rushing touchdowns among quarterbacks, NFL quarterbacks, in a player's first 6 seasons. Josh Allen also became the first quarterback in NFL history to have 10 games in a season with a rushing and a passing touchdown, and there's 3 games left, which means he has the opportunity to further extend both of those records. Also, Stefon Diggs, who was the Bills' leading pass catcher, the one throw, it was an oh my God moment for me. Like I didn't stand up from the couch, but it was a borderline stand up from the couch moment. Josh gets flushed out, to his right, and sidearms that football, which only Pat Mahomes can throw like off platform. Like he's the only one that can throw sidearm balls. He throws the ball sidearm in the rain, and Stefon Diggs reaches out with one hand. You all saw it, and like pulls that ball in. It was a stupid throw, and it was a stupid catch. I mean, that's a throw and a catch that should be on the NFL highlight reel for all of 2023 into going next year, going to 2024. It was incredible. But Stefon Diggs is the first wide receiver in Buffalo Bills history with 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Real quick, this will be fun. So for those of you that are listening to me in podcast form or in a situation where you can't necessarily comment, but if you can comment, little trivia for you. Who are the 2 wide receivers that Stefon Diggs passed? This is a relatively easy one. You should know this. Name for me the 2 wide receivers that Stefon Diggs passed. So there's 2 wide receivers in Buffalo Bills history that have had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. If you're listening to me and you're on a comment or able to comment, jump into the comment section. Throw them in there. T-Walk says Lee Evans. Lee Evans is not one of them. Spin says Eric Moulds. Eric Moulds is also not one of them. Spin says Moulds and Evans. It is not. Uh-oh. You guys are getting out of control. NFYA says Andre Reed and Lee Evans. And some of you have the right answers already. I just haven't clicked on it yet. Mr. West Ashley 843 says Reed and Moulds. Nope. The answer is 1 being Stevie Johnson out of Kentucky. 7th round pick out of Kentucky, who I loved as a draft pick. And people are like, oh, he's not that good. I'm like, have you watched his film? And the other one is absolutely, as Mary says, Andre Reed. So Stefon Diggs passes Andre Reed and Stevie Johnson, who both had 3,000-yard seasons in a row, to become the very first Bills player with 4. And that's hard to believe when you consider like the wide receivers we've had. You guys named Eric Moulds, and you talk about Jerry Butler, like going back in the days, James Lofton, Andre Reed. Like we went a long time, Lee Evans. We went a long time without having a wide receiver 1. But that's impressive. 4 years in a row, 1,000-yard seasons. And again, the season isn't over. And he's been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks. He's been kind of quiet. So we're running a little bit late in this show. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over. I'm not going to do stats. I'm not going to do the story of the game. I pretty much talked about it. Due to awards. The story of the game, real quick. The Bills just didn't let up. They imposed their will on the Cowboys. They imposed their will on the Cowboys, both on offense and defense, which is not something we see the Bills do often. And they just did what they did, and it's something that we need to see for the entire game going forward. So it was great to see. Dude awards, the obvious number one dude award for me up is James Cook. Second, offensive line. Third one is the entire defense. Both played well. Down dude awards for me. I've already talked about them. Taylor Rapp, T-Dot. Now let's jump over to the tweets that you guys tweeted me, and there's a bunch, because y'all are up in your fields, and this is what we've been doing this for 3 or 4 years now. So you guys are, it used to be like I'd get 8 or 10, and now it's consistently in the 40s. And I think the most I had was like 96 at one point in time. After this football game, I tweeted out the Buffalo Bills stack another win and get no help from the rest of the league, despite some promising game starts. How's that win got you feeling, Bills Mafia? Reading your tweets of the show tonight. And I'll get through as many of these as I can, and then I'll let you guys go. Alex Warmall, who I'm guessing is British, because he said, chuffed to bits. Chuffed to bits. By the way, speaking of British people, I haven't seen Saxa Dave in a long time. Is Saxa Dave in the comment section? Because Saxa Dave has not commented me. I don't think he's responded to one of my post-game tweets in a while. And I know that like the whole primetime thing, being in England, in the UK, is tough for him to be on live, but have not seen hide nor hair of Saxa Dave in a minute. So yeah, if anybody hears from him or whatever, I'll have to DM him after the show. But anyway, chuff to bits. So apparently that is a British thing. So Alex, thank you for being a part of the show. It goes back to when Saxa Dave was actually in town, and he said that he was off his tits. And I was like, what? He's like, you don't say that in the States? It's like, no, bro, we don't say that we're off our tits in the United States. So we've got chuffed to bits and we've got off our tits. Yep, there we are. So it is what it is. And then Trish followed up with him and just said, you spoke straight to my British heart. So whatever that means, it means. Brandon Altman says the Bills are making the playoffs, and they are the team that nobody wants to face. Stoked we beat Dallas, but next week, all Buffalo fans are the biggest Dallas fans in the world. Love the show, Joe. Keep doing what you do while the Streams Land is back. Indeed. And I retweeted that one. Robbie Snyder, my guy, Robbie. I'm happy with this win by the Bills. They played hard and showed a lot today. Happy to see James Cook running the ball. Hashtag Go Bills. Hi, Joe Miller Wired. What's up, Robbie? My guy Payton says, these guys ain't so effing bad, which is the gift, I believe, from Major League. Richard Rush says, finally, a game that was fun to watch and didn't age me 10 years. That's the thing that's like low-key missing. Like, there was no stress. I didn't age. I don't have any gray hairs in my beard from this football game. We need to keep feeding Cook. He had a phenomenal game, and our D-balled all game. Was fun. D-balled? Did you just really make me say D-balled? All game was fun to watch. Pause. Go Bills. Sorry. Leon B. Need to continue to stack wins. And he's got, was it the Big Lebowski pounding on the ceiling? Karen, hashtag let's go Bill, or let's go Buffalo. Inching closer back to wildest dreams land. Got to retweet that one because I retweet all those. With that statement game, just owning both sides of the football. Go Bills, Bills Mafia, almost Bills by a billion. She got the gif, believe. I Mike 23 says, say it loud and proud, Joe. How about them Cowboys? Love it. Absolutely love it. You're either offside or you're not. Oh, I just said that, and there's Saxa Dave, like literally on cue with the tweet. So I take everything. He's probably going to listen to this in the morning when he wakes up, and I take it all back. Are we finally getting hot in December? If we can make the playoffs, this team will be a scary one to play. But 1 week at a time. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. On to the Chargers and another killer kickoff time. He rolls his eyes. Go Bills. Yeah. So for him, it's a matter of 8 o'clock is 1 o'clock in the morning game start for him. So crazy. Brian Anthony, my guy Brian Bowers, who's in the chat. Total domination, Joe. This team has been completely different since we made the switch to Joe Brady at offensive coordinator. Why did we wait so long? It's a good question. Imagine what our record would be had we done it sooner. Either way, let's keep it going. No one wants to face this Bills team in the playoffs. 100%. Bills Media 716. James Cook was possessed, and all that talk about the Dallas Cowboys got shut down real fast. Pure domination against a top 5 team in the league. The boys are rolling at the right time. Don't let us get into the playoffs, Joe Miller. Go Bills. Jose Whosoever _777. Go Bills, and he's got the Kool-Aid gif. Oh yeah. I hope I do those like those things right. So the little impressions. M-Robs. This felt like exactly what this team needed. Now just keep winning. It was Deion Dawkins who said that this team is starting to believe in themselves. He inferred it. And then he did say that they're starting to basically play with some swag. So M-Robs, sorry, I just hit my microphone. M-Robs, you're on point there totally. Autumn's got the gif of a person literally running through a brick wall. Love it. 207 Bills fan. What a game for James Cook. When this team is on, no one can hang with them. Go Bills. There's a recurring theme on this show. The run starts tonight. Go Bills says we're winning out. Predicted it since the Eagles loss and standing by it. Too many positives to hold us back. Joe Brady calling great games. Solid execution combined with a team that just likes to be the underdog. They weren't the underdog in this football game, by the way. Will be a hard team to play in the weeks ahead. Scott, you are 100% correct. Mike Graham at All Right Mike 13. If you were to tell me Josh Allen was going to throw under 100 yards and we would still win by 21, I would have laughed in your face, especially against the Dallas Cowboys. Right there with you, bro. This has me excited. Bills look dangerous. I would agree. McCrane 430. Don't worry about the other teams. Just take care of business on our end, 1 week at a time, right? That is the phrase. So we got to go 1-0 every single week. It was interesting to see Josh Allen not know who we're playing next week. He's like, are we going to LA? We're going to LA, right? That's where we're going next week. It's hard for me to believe that they actually don't know who they're playing week to week, but apparently it's true. Bills fan UK. An old-fashioned ass kicking. They finally let James cook. Hashtag wildest dreams, which automatically gets a retweet from me. LG in the Valley. Bills need to go 3-0 or they will miss. Well, you're correct. LG, thanks for being a part of the show. Letting us all know what we all already know. C-Dub, hashtag Bills Mafia, Chris Wells 73. Looking forward to a pissed off Dallas team going to visit Miami next week on Christmas Eve. No, day before Christmas Eve. He's got the Grinch gift, which is great. Jackie Broder at Broder Jackie. Hey, how about those hog mollies? How about those hog mollies? I really am just imagining John Fina gloating right now. John was beside himself, not only in the little text group we have, but also on Twitter. He was enjoying what he was watching. Alex Turner 631. Denver losing certainly helped, but we need more help. We absolutely need more help. Jonathan Reddy. J Red Show. Happy they won, but also a little irritated that they waited so long to fire Dorsey. And now our playoff hopes are in the hands of other teams. It's, yes, in the hands of other teams, but it's also in our hands. The Buffalo Bills need to win out. Daniel Burr, Dan Charles Burr. Was this game? I'm trying to decipher what was this game porn for Sean McDermott, or was this Sean McDermott porn, right? Suffocating defense and an offense that ran the ball mercilessly down the opponent's throat. Coach will need a shower and a cigarette after watching this game film tonight. Apparently this is overreaction after dark at this point. Z Stats, Easy Bill 7. It's the rest of the AFC that's going to need help. True story. Laskies at Laskies. This game makes perfect sense. This is a playoff game for the Bills, and Dallas loses playoff games. That's funny. Do you prefer let Cook cook or let James cook? Go Bills. That's an interesting question. Do I prefer let Cook cook or I like let James cook? I think I like it that way better. I don't like let James cook. I don't like let Cook cook. I like let James cook. And so I think I'm on the same spot that Josh Allen is. If you saw the locker room cameras, they came into the locker room post game. Excuse me. Meathead Mike at meathead _ Mike. Replaced Ken Dorsey with Joe Brady a few weeks earlier, and our season outlook is vastly different right now. But Meathead Mike, we are not talking about what our outlook from earlier looks like. We're looking at what our outlook is right now, which is basically this team's got to win out, and we believe they can. Rook 33, Miami not beating the Cowboys. Miami is not beating the Cowboys. Ravens back-to-back. So see you in Miami for the division. So Rook is basically saying that the Dolphins are going to drop a game or two here coming up, and that last game of the season is going to be for the division championship in the AFC East between the Bills and the Dolphins. I like it. Proud Bills fan at Green Melon Study. We didn't get no help. Steelers and Broncos lost, moving us up 2 spots. It's a true story. Phil Martello, I mean, they got a Broncos loss last night. If they win out, they're in. Just win, baby. Bills got to win. Vinny A at VJAKMA. Went out and it will be fine. Got through Philly, Kansas City, Dallas, 2-1. Should be 3-0. Now have the Chargers and Pats coming up. Chargers away, Pats at home. Just if anybody's keeping notes or keeping track or doesn't know, keep playing like they are, and you might be fighting for the AFC East in the final. 10-7 or 11 or 10-7, 11-6 should get the Bills in the playoffs. Well, I think I prefer 11-6. I think the Bills are going to have to be at 11-6. So basically, count on that. Don't shoot for 10-7. Shoot for 11-6, in my opinion. Cheryl Wilson at Crappy Jazz. That's a funny name. I'm cautiously optimistic, but also freaking excited. Me too. Adam at Adam Run Strong. I'm stunned. I thought we'd win, but not like this. I thought for sure we were all going to bed mad despite a win. I get it, right? You never know going into games what you're going to get. I wasn't expecting 31-10, which realistically is 31-3. The Bills curb stomped them. They just literally curb stomped them. I thought we would win this football game. People asked me all week what my thoughts were. I was like, this is a winnable game. It depends on which football team shows up, right? And right now the Bills are consistently the same team, which has been great. So I get what you're saying. I didn't expect to go to bed mad. To me, at this point in time, any win is important. Win ugly if you have to, just like last week against the Chiefs, just win. Clearly, it does way more for our confidence going forward, knowing this team is starting to put it together. So, Charles Byrne, go Bills. This is the running game we've been missing. Yeah, literally for 5 years. The Bills showed different looks Dallas wasn't ready for. Tyler Bass is back on track. Oh, and Vaughn, who? Vaughn actually played a lot in that fourth quarter because they were basically sitting guys. And Vaughn was the guy, the $100 million man, putting him in there to get reps, which I thought was interesting. So, things that probably only I noticed. Cynthia Padula, feeling like if this is us peaking, no one is going to want to play us. Thank you, Joe Brady. This is what the team needed. Keep grinding. We're not done yet. No, we are not. Publicus Fox at Joyce Publi 17718. I think we all need to be Cowboy fans as soon as possible. You're right. Cowboys need to beat the Dolphins next week. Douglas DeGuide. Billy's just got to keep doing what they are, and they'll take care of their own business, and that'll be okay. Basically just saying, Doug is just saying, win out, and we're good to go. Anakin Skywalker, wow. Anakin's in the room. Jedi Slayer 455. Pump this performance into my veins. 3 more. He said, and then he's got the gift that says we landed on the moon. I think is what this one is, right? No way. We landed on the moon from Dumb and Dumber. It's amazing. Men in the Kitchen, 3 words, pure domination. That's 2 words. Go Bills. Ben Groff says mission accomplished. Got the gif. Taco Bell, Taco 55 board. We're 8-6. That's all he's got to say about that. Florida Man Rob at FL Man Rob. The 1 p.m. football gods did everything possible to demoralize this team prior to kickoff, and they did. And all they did was lay the smackdown to a championship caliber team. Next week, the tides turn, and these backup QBs start playing like backup QBs. Hashtag Wildest Dreamsland, which obviously gets a retweet for me. Just a couple more for you here. I think there's like 2. Patrick John Hizzy. Mike McCarthy putting Dak Prescott back in for Cooper Rush during garbage time was a loser behavior. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Go Bills. Yes, I agree with you, but Dak did not get hurt, so it was kind of fine. And then another Major League reference from Colty at Colty Rottercruss. He says, it's the gift where it says, my kind of team, Charlie. It's my kind of team. And then I think I've got one more for you from Texas Bills fan. Go Bills Harris. We don't need help. We are the Buffalo Bills. I'm on the moon with this ass whooping. Don't let us in the tournament. We will go dog walk all of them. Go Bills. Absolutely great. Oh, I'm sorry. There is one more. From DEFOEX, the Audi pile. He says, F 'em. Go make. This is a great one to end on. He says, F 'em. Use the real word, though. The F dash word. Make your own destiny. Go Bills is what he says, which is absolutely a perfectly fitting end to this here show. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you being with me and hanging out with me and spending a little bit of time with me. It's been fun as we wrap this thing up. The Buffalo Bills are 8-6. They've got everything that they need in front of them. They've got to basically take it one game at a time, which is not necessarily news for us. We hear them talk about this all the time. We hear them say it all the time. They chirp it back. They parrot it. That is the world we're living in, and they are in a situation where, as a football team, they are getting hot at the right time. So go 1-0 every week. Take care of business. Win 3 more games, and let's just see where the chips fall. If you win the division, you win the division. If you don't, you don't. At least, hopefully, enough work is done that we make the playoffs. And then from there on out, as has been said by me over and over again and said by the people tweeting back at me, nobody wants to play this team. I promise you, nobody in the AFC wants to play this team. It's going to be a fun, just kind of ending stretch, run into the playoffs through Christmas and New Year. So buckle up, Buttercup. Have fun with it. But I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Show, brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. One more time, if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, please call John Spascheck, 716-570-3298. The number again, 716-570-3298. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, the Off Tackle with John Fina show and myself. Can't wait to see you there. Please tune in. We'll talk to you guys soon. Go Bills.